Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another wonderful episode of Boston Devops Bill. My name is Bill Oliver, and this is my channel. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue from the last session, which we were here. And in the last episode, we were working on our Vagrant file and our JSON file. We were combining them into one. So in this episode, we're going to pound some more keys, but we're going to do some testing first. So why don't we go ahead and what's a good place to start at? Why don't we bring up one of them, okay, just to see if it all works, okay? So let's do a Vagrant. Up. And let's do build prod. So what you're seeing here is the ability to bring up one node at a time, okay? As well as, we could bring up all of them at the same time simply by typing Vagrant up, okay? So as you can see, it's running, and if we defined everything properly, we should be able to see the machine get created. So, and this is really going to be, once we get these up and running, once we define these boxes, okay, and the next step is going to be having each box talk to each other. Because right now, when we bring them up, you'll see that we'll only be able to talk to our current box in our host machine, but we won't be able to talk to any box that we created because it won't have their IP address inside of there. And remember, we're working with a bare bone CentOS. So there's no luxuries here, okay? We're talking about the, I think it was the 1970s Yugo, okay? Anybody remember the Yugo? Okay, but that's basically what we got, okay? We got a Yugo. So we at least want something durable, something strong, something tough. So we need an F-150, okay? We need a Ford F-150, and we're going to have to make some modifications in order to get there. And the modifications which we're going to do is we're going to get into writing a provision script for each one of these nodes so that the nodes load the proper set of utilities that we want. We want to make sure that the networking is set up properly so that each one of these machines can, if we define a new machine, that it has a mechanism for picking up the IP address for that machine and adding it to its host file, okay? And if I haven't talked about this before, let me talk to you about this now. We have inside of CentOS systemd. There's normally just, or when I was growing up, is that a good word for it? Probably not, but back in the day, we always had initRC. InitRC had different run levels that defined things that would occur at different startup, that would run at different levels of startup. And what systemd does, it's a replacement for the RC, initRC. And the main difference about systemd, and it's absolutely fascinating, okay? Because what systemd does is systemd pretty much throws everything up in the air, all the resources up in the air, and says, hey, if you're an interface, go get them. Pretty much, a free-for-all. And that's a, really, really high-level definition for it. But that's essentially what it's doing. And what that does is that allows us allows the operating system to load and start up faster. And the reason being is because no resource has to wait on a node to be defined or something to be defined. Now, it might have to delay because there's a dependency, but once that dependency is satisfied, then it can go up and take whatever it needs, in order to satisfy its own init process. And that is one of the new things that came into the Linux, and I think it's just absolutely tremendous, and it's kind of fun. So we'll be writing some system units in order to handle when the machine boots up, have it go out, check a file, grab the host name, pop it in, or actually compare it to what's currently inside of its own host name, and if a new one was defined, to incorporate it. Okay, so we'll be doing that in the next one, and following that we'll be doing dis, okay, because we have to define dis too. Okay, so in any case, we have our build machine. It looks like it worked good. Okay, we have, let's do a test. There's a command for Vagrant, and what that command is called is vbguest. And this is a command for VirtualBox to check to see if the guest editions are loaded. And we need the guest editions because through the guest editions, what we get is we get the ability to define shares back to our host machine, which we just did. In fact, we can see right here where it says that it's mounting dir share. Okay, but we want to make sure that everything is working, everything's configured. So let's do a vbguest, and we can give it build prod. Okay, and what that is going to do is it's going to check the status and make sure that it's running. Okay, even though we can see up here, I think it says it's running, and yeah, it says it's running. It's okay. Now we have a share here, so let's go ahead and verify that share is working. Let's copy our Vagrant file, okay, into dir share. Okay, now let's go ahead and go check out our box, Vagrant SSH. And when we just want to address one of these particular VM machines, we can say build share. We can just give it its host name. Get a little excited. So, so let me go ahead and alias ls. And the reason why I'm aliasing ls is because, you know what? I'm an old guy, and that whole color scheme thing, yeah, it's not playing well with me, guys. Okay. And besides, I don't have time to sit here and configure it just for everyone, so we're just every particular color. There we go. Okay, so if I do an ls of /img, we can see we have a shared folder, and this is the share folder right here. So if we take a look at shared, we can see our Vagrant file. In fact, if we come here, we can even cat it out. And this is the file which we just defined. And notice how the file didn't grow very much. I think we added 1 or 2 lines. We certainly added the line to read the JSON file. We certainly added a new command to handle the shares, okay? But that's about it. I mean, everything else was just pretty much just swapping values, saying, hey, we want to take this from this node config array. We want to define it for each one of these nodes, and then we just want to assign all of these values that was inside of there, okay? And so nothing too complex, nothing too wild, but it does the job, doesn't it? I mean, here we're on, Can we ping Google? We're talking to Google. How about that? All right. So we have our networking up. We know our shares are working. Okay. Now, so if we do a Vagrant status, we have only one of them up. You know what? We really need to run both of them at the same time just to make sure that they all work, right? I mean, it's kind of fun. And it'll give me a chance to ramble on. I mean, hey, you know, I mean, I got to fill the gap time, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and do a Vagrant halt. And we can do that of our build machine. If we just hit halt right here, it's going to give an error on one of them because it's not up. Okay? And it says, hey, VM is not created, moving on. So as you see, when we give it a Vagrant command without specifying a host, it's going to iterate through each one of these machines. Now, does it care whether or not it's a JSON file? No. Is it going to take a little bit extra for it to go through, read the file, parse the values, iterate through the arrays we set up, and then determine its status? Yes, it's going to take a little bit more time. But I'm lazy, and I think this is worth it. So let's go ahead. Now that we have them down, I'm going to say destroy. And I'm going to give it the minus forceful, don't tell me about it, just do it flag. Okay, and that's done. So now, let's see let's see whether or not it will bring up everything all at once. So Vagrant up. You saw that I could bring up one machine. Now let's bring them both up at the same time, and we can see right here it's telling us yes, you're going to bring up both of them at the same time. Build prod and test prod. Okay. So it's going through. It's loading these values. It's booting up the machine. Same as before. It's very exciting, isn't it? Don't you just feel like jumping up and going, yay, it worked. But in any case, so as these machines, as I was saying before, get defined and we begin to customize them, we won't want to go back each time and maybe run it from the Vagrant system. We could, but more importantly, we'll probably want to go in and run them directly from our VirtualBox manager. Because remember, once the machine is defined, it's really defined inside of VirtualBox the same as Vagrant. Okay, we can provision these machines very quickly in Vagrant instead of sitting there and clicking new and going through and defining each one. We're loading a very minimum box for CentOS, and that means that there's going to be a minimum set of commands inside of there. No man pages, no frills, no games, no nothing. Okay, and the reason for that is because it's so fast to boot, and we want each one of these environments to have the same set of core utilities. So for a start, and if we want to have a difference between our build box and our test box, well, we can copy our provisioning script that we're going to use for each one of these nodes. That's going to have a list of RPMs to load through Yum, or going to define various port addresses or whatever it is that we're going to put inside of there. Maybe reach out and pull down third-party utilities, but we can customize this script for each one of these environments, and we ultimately will have to do that, okay? But for right now, what we're going to do, and right now it's building the second one. Let me see. Yes, it is. Okay, it just went through and defined the dir share. Okay. So, one of the things, you know what I should have done? I probably should have defined a, yeah, you know what? Guess what? I'm going to cause some problems here. I'm going to be destructive. See if we can't. No, that didn't work. Do I have a break key? Yes, I do. Ah, there we go. I just caused myself a headache. Okay, I just aborted out of the creation process. So let's find out what state Vagrant is. This is play machine, so we can go ahead and screw everything up right now because we're really not at that stage of let's do a halt. Vagrant. We're not at that stage where this is mattering. We're still in development, so I just thought of something really cool, which was we really didn't define anything other than just one entry for the ports and shared. And so let's go ahead and define a couple of these. Okay. And I just duplicated it. I separated each object with a comma. And I'm going to call this folder share. And I'm going to put this on folders. Okay. And I'm come down to our second one. And you know what? Yeah, let's go overboard. Okay? Let's go overboard. I mean, so this is the n+1, the n+1 plus 1. Yeah, sure. Okay. And let's say folder share, and let's say folder new. Okay, and we'll put this underneath folders new. Okay, so when we run this for the build prod machine, we should see 3 different shares: dir share, folder share, and folder new. And rather than just opening up a bunch of ports, what I'm showing is that I'm showing how our iteration takes place. Okay. Now we'll leave dir share the same. And let's say that we want a different share. Let's call it popcorn. Don't ask me why, but it should pop. How's that? So we'll put this on a share called img pop. We'll have a directory called popcorn. Okay. We'll also have dir share. Okay. And okay. And that should be perfect. So we should have one folder that we can share between test prod and build prod, okay, which is called the dir share. And build prod will have 2 additional folders, folder share and folder new. And test prod will have 1 additional folder called popcorn. Now, in order to make this work, we need to create these directories. So we still have the dir share. We don't have to worry about that. But let's go ahead and make dir. And let's do a folder. Okay, we want to do folder share. And we want to do folder new. And we want to do popcorn. Okay. Now we have all three of these folders, or actually all four of them defined. Make sure I spelled them right. I think I did. I am notorious for getting folders wrong. Folders new, folder share. And I got that wrong. Ugh. Breaks my heart. Okay. So let me move folder new to folders new. It's pluralisms that kill me. Okay, in any case, let's go ahead and get a status of a Vagrant status. Okay, both of them are powered off. And let's go ahead and kill them off. So let's do a Vagrant destroy. And we'll give it the just do it John Wayne flag. Okay. Path of the shared folders are missing. I thought I fixed that. I got a typo. Okay. As you can see, every change which we made, I mean, when we provisioned this machine, it didn't have folders share and folders new. Okay. There we go. And popcorn. Okay, so now that we fixed that, now we can go ahead and destroy the machine because it located all the resources and was able to determine what it needed to do. But notice that if we do a dir of dir share, our Vagrant file is still there. It does not remove anything for shares. Okay, when we bring up the machine and bring it down, it will not remove the share directory. I believe we can tell it to, but you know, for the most part, it does not. So let's go ahead and let's bring this up and watch it run all the way through. And that's pretty much going to do it for this. We did go longer than I expected. I expected to do this within 45 minutes, and it looks like we're going to come in at about 1 hour. So it looks like, as I try to figure out exactly what the optimum duration is, and based upon some of the complexities which, you know, I'm trying to convey and put inside of these, you know, episodes, you know, we might go a little long, and most of the times I'm trying to keep it at least under an hour or 1 hour exactly. And it looks like we're fast coming in at about an hour. Okay. So I hope you can bear with it. I hope you're really having fun. And you know, look, there is a lot of ways which you can do this. Okay. So in every place which I've gone to, okay, someone has always said, well, what about this? What about that? What about the other? This is your opportunity to go out there and do just that. Okay, take my framework. Okay, tweak it the way that you want to do it. Okay, don't follow exactly the same way I do. Tweak it when you feel that you can tweak it, you know, and achieve a objective or a goal that you want your environment to do. Okay, for me, this is my vision. Okay, I love my vision. I love the fact that we're building a hybrid virtual environment that's gonna deploy inside of a cloud. And I love the fact that in doing that, we can develop so many different utilities and set up a framework that is, you know, dynamic enough to handle how you want to do it, how I want to do it, and how somebody else will want to do it. And if you come up with a great idea, shoot it out to everybody, you know, pop it on the comments, you know, let's talk about it, you know. Let me, you know, give me the insights, you know, that I need to, you know, take your idea and say, wow, that was really cool, but I'd like it to do it this, you know, or I'd like, you know, I really don't want to do that, but I want to do something very close to that. And that's the beauty of what, you know, we're doing here. Okay, we're just, you know, defining everything. Okay, so that it works for us. And we're coming up on the shares now. Oh, and there we go. Okay, so we went through that loop. Look at that. Okay, we got a dir share. We got a folder share. We got a folders new. And now it's provisioning the Nets box. So in about 2 more minutes, this should be done. It's kind of fun, you know. One of the things which I do enjoy is sitting there and watching it scroll by. It's like sitting on the dock of the bay, you know, watching the tides roll away. And that is exactly what we're doing. We're sitting on the dock of the bay. If I could sing, I'd seriously break out in a song right there, right then, okay? But I don't think that you guys want to do that, and I don't want to scare you off from the channel. How's that? In any case, let's take a look at see if I can, there we go. Okay, I did that so that we can go Vagrant SSH build prod. Okay. And as the other machine is still coming up, I'm jumping in so that we can do a couple of checks. We can see what we can see. Okay. I'm doing my alias ls thing again. Okay. Oh. I so got to take a typing course. In any case, let's take a look at what we have for shares underneath our image. Okay, and we can see we have folders, folders new, shared. In fact, let's get out. Let's go into folders share, and let's copy VM machine into it. And we'll leave the other two empty. Okay. So, if I, oh darn it. I wiped out my alias. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so let's do an ls of img. And let's look inside of the folders directory. okay, we have our VM machine right there. The one which we just copied up here. So we are looking at our host. Let's look at our shared name. We can see our Vagrant file. And that means that our last share, which is the folders new share, is empty. Okay, can we ping Yahoo now? We are pinging Yahoo. Can we ping Google? We did Google before. Yeah, we can ping Google. Okay, but our network is set up. Okay, so let's talk about this one over here. Okay, so now that, let's get a status for this. Vagrant. Okay, obviously you guys know what I did with the money my mother gave me for typing classes. Okay, so what we have is, now we have both boxes running. I am in right now, if I do a host, if I do a uname -a, I am in build prod. We have a 310 kernel. It is an x64 box, okay, and we're running Linux. So let's go ahead and do a Vagrant SSH, and let's do test prod. Okay. And let's look at the IMG. Okay. Oh, that's nasty. We got color. Okay. Let's let's do that. Okay. The reason why I don't like the color is because it's very difficult to very difficult to see when you're recording. In fact, when I just look at it regular, it letters blur together. Bad, not good for me, not good. Okay, so we have a shared folder, and we see our Vagrant file. If we come back over here and do an ls of image shared, we see the Vagrant file. In fact, and okay, can we ping Google? We're pinging Google. Okay, so everything is set up consistently for the two. At this point, we have the ability to define as many machines as we want, as many shares as we want, as many ports as we want. Okay, because we just proved it. All right, it's in our Vagrant file. Okay, and we described it inside of our JSON file. Okay, so we handle loops inside of here, nice and easy. We have a mechanism now for defining machines consistently, and we can spin them up, spin them down, remove them, do anything we want. Okay, and we'll be adding Puppet to this. So once we spin them up, we can have a repository where we can copy all these utilities which we write, which we may put on a share, that any particular VM which we spin up then integrates in with Puppet, picks it up, and deploys it to that machine. Okay, we'll do that later. Okay. But our next step, as I said, is we're going to define some host names, because real quickly, if I try to Oh, well, forget it. It's down. We're at an hour. We're going to hold it there. I can ramble on for hours, okay? I don't mean to torture you. So, this is Bill Oliver, my channel, Boston DevOps Bill. I wish you a great, great night. Happy 4th of July. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.